You're locked in to Independent Grind on Dash Radio. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern for the latest hip-hop news, music, and interviews. Independent Grind only on Dash Radio, baby. Tech 9!
All right, we are on the phone with Jameson. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. You?
We're actually we were just talking about this. I don't know if it's the middle of the week or whatever, but we're dragging a little bit. We're both kind of tired, but we're powering through. Yeah, it's like everyone in our office is sick and stuff, and it's just like been a long week already. But I was actually made me wonder, like, I guess being an artist, like you're not working like a typical like 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Like, does like hump day mean anything to you? Like, do you reach a point in the week where you're sort of dragging?
I try not to. I mean, it's day by day. I don't really think about it in weeks. I think about it in, if I'm dragging today or I'm not, and it's a lot of coffee pushes me through.
Yeah, Alec has a monster over here right now, and I was like, my God, that looks like it's like nuclear waste. It's just like bright yellow.
Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, that's some serious shit. That's like some crack.
Thank you for making me feel great.
Yeah,
myself.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't want to tweak you out any more than you already are with that trick, but yeah, there might be crack cocaine in that.
So what gets you through when you're feeling sort of like you're dragging? Is it just coffee, or like is there anything else you do to sort of
coffee, or like at night maybe some alcohol, or just like making a good song that helps too.
Yeah. How often are you? So like, are you out in LA right now?
Yeah, I live here.
Oh, you live here. So how often are you like, recording, or I guess even like I know you got a lot going on and we'll talk about a bunch of it, but like sort of what's going on now? What did you say now? I said, I know you got a lot going on and we'll talk about, like the label stuff and that kind of thing, but what are you working on like right now, or what's occupying your time right now?
I'm working on a new album.
Okay.
That's like the main focus right now.
Mm-hmm. And now, like label wise and stuff, you got, I know you got White Room Records, and I'm sort of very curious about that. Like balancing, are you doing executive stuff for that? How do you balance sort of behind the scenes label operations with creating the music?
Well, I just try to do one thing at a time, and like, when I'm done making an album, there's like a certain time when all I want to do is work on something else besides my own stuff. But then, I'll go back in the mode of working on my stuff again, so it's all in phases. Mm-hmm. You just got to commit all your time to one thing at a time.
And how long have you did you do the label, your own label from the beginning?
Yeah, but it was just putting out Jameson Socks.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wanted to make it a label eventually, like, with different artists. And so I, just kind of started doing that a little bit by little bit. So we're still working on that part.
Was that always a goal for you to sort of be independent and do your own thing?
It wasn't always the goal, but I mean, as an artist, I always want to just do my own thing and have freedom. But so that was always the goal. But, business wise, I didn't think about it like that until later.
What sort of spawned that business, the business oriented part of it? Or did you have any experience like either, with a major or whatever, that sort of made you start to focus on the business?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. I had a lot of situations happen with a lot of different people, labels and just different people working with me, and there's so many different factors when you're trying to make music that you don't think about when you're first getting into it, because you just want to make music and you want to keep making music, and that's why you want to get paid, so you can keep making music, so there's a lot of stuff you don't think about that's involved in making music for a living, I guess you could say.
Was there a moment or like a particular, like something that happened that like, really that made you think about that more? Like, was there almost like a learning curve in a way, like some moment in your career where you were like, okay, like I kind of get it now?
I mean, there's always aha moments, but there was a point where I took an album to Universal Motown, which I was signed to at the time, and they didn't want to put it out, so they dropped me. And it was in the midst of they wanted me to make this electronic pop stuff, and they wanted other people to produce it. They didn't want me to produce and stuff. And then, but in the meantime, I was making the stuff that I really wanted to make the days that I wasn't writing with other people and shit. And I put together an album, and that was what came out as my first album for Jameson. And that was the one they didn't want to put out. And when they didn't want to put it out, I was like, I'm going to just put this out because this is what I really want to do. And I'm tired of trying to appease everybody else and make these radio smashes and whatever, bullshit that doesn't mean anything to me as an artist.
Were you doing, so you said you were doing songwriting for other artists?
No, I was doing it for me, but I was writing with other people, and they were producing the beats and stuff because the label didn't like my production and they didn't like my songwriting. But that's what I wanted to do when I got into it. But I was like, oh, well, they're going to give me the tools I need to get to the next level to where eventually I can be doing that. And a lot of people think like that. They're like, oh, well, let me just do this so then I can get to a point where I do what I want to do. You know what I mean? But it's no, you got to just do what you want to do and work on that and making that work rather than trying to do something else to make it work. Do that to make it work.
How does that work whenever they didn't want to put out your project and then you went ahead and released it?
They just say, no, we don't want to put it. That's the album I turned in. I'm like, this is what I want to put out. And if you guys don't want to do it, then, let me go from this contract. And luckily I had a great A&R that was cool about it. And they got the paperwork done probably within a week because there's paperwork to do with contracts and getting out of them. And so, that was I got lucky that I had a good relationship with my A&R at the time, and he was really cool about it. And they let me go, and I put out the video probably a couple of days after I signed that paper.
They tried to hit you back up yet?
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody has. I mean, I've been doing it now for 5 years or so, this Jameson thing. So, there's been a lot of people.
Any plans to sort of go back to the major label one day, or are you going to sort of keep doing your own thing?
Right now, I'm just going to keep doing my own thing. And, if an opportunity comes along that makes sense, then, I'm just always open. I don't close off to anything. I used to be like that earlier, oh, I'll never do this. But, I don't know what I'll do in the future. Mm-hmm. I'm growing up, and my thoughts and mind is changing on stuff, and I look at stuff in different ways, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I just think that the main thing for me is to have creative control and of my career. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, you've definitely built a name. It's funny, I feel like hip hop, always champions someone who's not necessarily in hip hop, but I'm thinking of Florence and the Machine or whatever. But you're sort of in the independent world. I feel like you're one of those names that sort of even though you're not necessarily hip hop, you've sort of been adopted by that community. I'm curious, is that you're doing how does that relationship with hip hop, how do you feel about it, or how did that come about? Because you have songs with Boldy, you have songs with Freddie Gibbs. It's always an interesting.
I mean, it's awesome to be accepted by that group of people that listen to hip hop and stuff. But I mean, it wasn't planned. I know there's plenty of hip hop influence in the things I do, for sure. I mean, because I grew up on a lot of hip hop and stuff like that. I mean, I grew up on everything really, but my producing days, when I started producing, I was really into. That was when I really got into hip hop, and you get into sampling and making beats like that, and I guess that stuff just never leaves you. And it's crazy because I mean, I hear a little hip hop influence in what I do, but it's not crazy hip hop influenced.
Do you think that's kind of where the music is headed? Like, I mean, I noticed like a bunch of prominent hip hop blogs and rap blogs like picked up your music. Do you think that just goes with like the times of where music is heading?
What is the hip hop blogs?
Yeah, just like them picking up other stuff that's not necessarily rap or, hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, people's taste is not just, it's not so streamlined into one thing. I mean, it's eclectic. Everybody likes what they like, and I don't think they have to be so closed-minded, like this is all we can listen to in this area. It's like, nah, just like, open your mind. And I feel like hip-hop people are some of the most open-minded people when it comes to music, because there was a time when hip-hop wasn't a thing, that was an outcast kind of music. Like, you're like, what are you listening to? You know what I mean? So they were open-minded to even start listening to that. So I don't think they've lost that.
Whenever you started making music and writing music, did you always produce for yourself, or did you have people around you at the beginning?
No, yeah, I always produced for myself. And that's why when I went to these labels and they had me, working with other people because they didn't think my stuff was good enough, it was weird, but I used it as a, I got to get better at my craft if they don't even believe in what I'm doing. But, in the end, it didn't matter that they didn't believe in what I was doing, because I had to believe in what I was doing. But it was good to just, use that to get better, because I definitely got better from that.
Do you still sort of, I mean, I guess, do you still collaborate with people on your own music, or is it when it's like, your own thing, you like to do it sort of like on your own?
Yeah, I do like to do it on my own, but, I would love to collaborate with people that I trust. It's just hard to find people that I trust musically.
How do you develop that, or how do you even go about, like finding someone you trust?
I don't know. It happens. It just happens. It's like, meeting somebody in a relationship. You don't know when you're going to meet somebody, but it happens, and then it works. And then you're like, oh, well, we're doing this now. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's something where I need to be going out and seeking somebody to help me with my music, because that's desperate. And I don't think anything good's going to come out of that.
And sort of like going back to your, it's obviously like I've been a fan of yours for a while. You've been around for a minute now, but I'm curious, like I feel like recently you sort of underwent a change. Like I'm thinking of like, the 2014 project was like very different than the stuff you've released recently, even like last year. And you even like sort of undergone like a change, like, you cut your hair and everything. I'm curious, was that like a conscious, like I'm going to shift away from what I was doing before, or what went into sort of your change? Yeah,
definitely. I definitely always want to shift away from what I'm doing and challenge myself, and just the hair was just like a shedding of all the old stuff I was doing, and because I felt like a different person, and I wanted to, new hair, new person kind of thing.
Was it tough sort of making that transition, or what was that like creatively to sort of shift gears for you?
No, that wasn't tough at all, because it's what I felt like I wanted to do. It was in me, and that's the thing that like of being independent and being free is like I don't worry about like changing, because I'm changing every day, and I'm riding with it, and that's what some of my favorite artists were the ones that evolved and grew every album and every day, and that's the kind of artist that I want to be, because that's who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of your main inspirations you draw from?
I mean, Prince is a huge one, and Whitney Houston is amazing.
With Prince, I'm curious. We actually just talked about this earlier today, but I don't know. Did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
Do what?
Did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think of,
I
like,
love football.
Like Justin caught some. It was funny. Like we were talking about this earlier, and he obviously did tribute to Prince, and like they've had beef, so people were on him about that. But at the same time, like I feel like if it's in Minnesota, you're sort of obligated to make a tribute. What did you think about the tribute?
I think it was good that, because I heard that he was going to do a hologram. It's probably good that he didn't. But it was, it was a great just to see a video of Prince and see like the city light up purple. That was amazing,
And then sort of going back to your own stuff now, I know we talked about, you don't tend to collab with people, but I actually just recently discovered Perl, and that has like, I feel like that's sort of your sort of like White Room kind of records kind of thing. How did that project, or sort of, can you explain what that is? Is it just you collaborating with a lot of different people? How did that come about? It started as I just had like beats that I hadn't used for Jameson stuff because they just weren't right, and I was like, I know so many people that sing and shit. Why don't I just get people to do these songs, and then it'll be nice to get these out, because I don't like not releasing music and just having it sit on a computer and nobody ever hears it. I just want to get it all out. So it was good to have help to do that. What's your sort of creative process like? If you like to get all your stuff out, are you constantly making beats, or are you sort of making, one song start to finish and then you move on to...
I go through phases. It starts usually like make a bunch of shit, beats, songs, whatever, and then kind of sift through that and see what ideas I want to like really dig into, and then once I focus that, then I'll start finishing stuff, and then that's the finish time, and I'm not like making anything new. I'm just focused on finishing that shit, because like I said, one thing at a time. You got to focus, otherwise nothing ever gets done.
Yeah. You say you're working on a new album now. What state are you at with that? Are you sort of still trying to flesh out ideas, or do you have like a honed in idea for what? Oh
no, I have all the ideas. Like that's why I released a new song. Like if I didn't think it was close to done, I wouldn't have released a song, So all the songs are done. I'm just mixing and adding little tweaks and stuff. So, it's hopefully I'll get it done soon. I'm hoping I'll be done before I start playing shows, because I have to be done before I start playing shows.
You just dropped. You kind of spoke on it there. You dropped the music video for your newest song, "So Badly," you dropped that last night, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess when this airs, it won't be last night. But tell me about the vision for the video and everything.
I just wanted to make a performance video that was. It made me feel like the song. It was in the world of the song, and so I went for it.
Do you kind of play the role of creative director with that kind of stuff, or do you just kind of say like, okay, this is what I'm envisioning, like, video team, like, go do it?
I mean, it's definitely what I saw, and I had a great person doing the set design that made that come to life. She really made it amazing and took it to the next level.
Is that song stand out on your upcoming project, or is that something is that song
of course
mean a lot for you as far as like where that project's
going?
Course.
And that's why I put it out first. If it didn't, I wouldn't have put it out first. It was the first song that I finished from this album, or even started, and so it kind of dictated where it was all going.
I thought it was interesting. Like the video version is different than like the single. You have that little like monologue in the beginning. What went into that, or like how did you decide to do something different in the video versus the single?
Well, the single, and that's why it's called the single version. The album version does have that talking part, and I feel like I just felt like it would be cool to have a little extra thing, within the video, and it's cool to have little trinkets of like special stuff. I used to love that about watching videos like the Missy Elliott videos when they would have the next song video, like 20 seconds of it at the end of the video and shit, you know.
Is the single
or
version
like Janet Jackson video where there's a dance break, you know, when there wasn't one in the actual song.
Yeah. Is the single version for like specifically so like you can get it out for it's easier for playlists or radio or whatever? Or is that like, did you do?
Oh no, I just think it was just a different version, like a cut down version of like, you know, here's the song and everything, and then the talking part goes better with the actual album when you're in that world in the video, you know. But on its own, I think it made more sense to do it without that, you know. And so you just get the song and its beef.
Does this sort of like where the album's headed, or like I guess can you speak on, you know, how the album sounds, how it compares to your different stuff, maybe some of the challenges that you faced recording it?
It's not all like that song, but I'm pushing it. I just try to push it as far as I can.
Is there a difference, like, you know, I guess even just to your last project last year and this one, like even did you feel that when recording it, like that you felt different?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, if I don't feel different, then I shouldn't be recording at all, you know, because then I'm just gonna be making the same shit.
Yeah.
How'd you decide on the timing in between the two?
How did I decide what?
How did you decide on the timing between the two? Was it just you kind of built up enough tracks to kind of feel like you had an album together, or?
Oh yeah. I don't like plan it to where it's like, oh, I want to put it out by this time. It's just like I'm always trying to make music, and if I make music that's good enough to put out, then I'm gonna put it out. You know, I don't worry about how long it's been between tracks or stuff like that.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, we appreciate you joining us. I guess anything else on the lookout for? You mentioned shows and stuff. Do you got anything in the pipeline other than like sort of the album that you're looking forward to?
We got some shows in Poland and Russia, and I believe one in Vegas, and just a kind of like scattered stuff right now that we're working on. And then, you know, later in the year, we'll play some more shows.
Do you have a date on the album or a month?
No, I don't.
Gotcha.
No, I'm taking one step at a time. I got to finish it first.
Gotta go to Russia and come back before you can figure out it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you might
true.
go to Russia and have a whole different mindset when you come back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then I want to make a new record.
This is the genius, Chris Calico. Cali, baby. Letting you know you're tuned into Tech Nine's Independent Grind on Dash Radio.